All right, so I'm in bed and Netflix has a new movie on called The TreeHouse. So I had it saved for a while and I didn't realize it was another Into the Dark episode. So I finally clicked on it today and watched it, and I like it. The thing with this one, you can tell it was a little bit more of a higher budget than the other Into the Dark episodes. It seems like it's going, it just ended its playing. Looking for the remote. Yeah, so you can tell, it's a little bit more higher budget, with each one. The budget seems to be getting just a little bit bigger. All right, so oh my God. It stars this guy, right? He's like a big celebrity chef. He's like a Chef Ramsay type, but not like big like Chef Ramsay. And they kind of poke fun of it in the movie, saying that he's like a rip-off version of another famous chef. But, So it starts off with him, doing his show and whatnot. And his daughter's there waiting on him. And he basically blows his daughter off big time to go meet up with somebody else. But we don't find out that it's actually his sister that he hasn't seen for a long time until he actually gets there. So on his way there to his childhood home, he stops at this bait and tackle place, and he run into a group of 5 ladies. It's like it was set up as if it's like a bachelorette thing or a bridesmaid thing, and he runs into them. They exchange pleasantries, but not really. They just kind of pass by each other. And he goes into the bait shop and come across this guy, like he kind of like a pathetic guy that he went to school with. And the guy starts saying some weird shit, like, he sings some weird melody for his sister and tells him to tell his sister that he sung that. So he was pretty weird. So he leaves and he gets to the house and meets up with his sister. So then we find out, he blew his daughter off for his sister, which still sucks, but at least it's a family member and not like some random girl or something that he met. So he gets to the house and he's like, reminiscing, going over stuff, and he mentions that he wasn't allowed to go to his dad's funeral. I don't think it was ever explained why, but that kind of, tells that something kind of went wrong somewhere in the past, and he wasn't allowed to go. So he's there talking to his sister, and all of a sudden he sees this huge black goat outside, and he says, oh my God, something about Black Phillip. Now, if that's a reference to the movie The Witch, because Black Phillip was the black goat that the twins was communicating with, and it was, not a friendly type thing. So it kind of paints a picture, or it's kind of sending an homage to the witch, and as sort of a foreshadowing of what the movie is going to be about. So after that, his sister gets called away. I guess she's a DA and she gets called away. Mind you, this is a Saturday. Is it a Friday or a Saturday? I think it's a Friday, but I could have swore it was a Saturday. But she gets called away, which is weird to me because that's official business, and they usually like Monday through Friday type thing. So that kind of, stuck in my mind, like maybe she, whatever's gonna happen, she's gonna be a part of it. So yeah, there's this housekeeper there. She's like going blind, or like half blind, but she's still moving around and doing her thing. But she's just a crotchety old lady. You don't really think much of her. So after the sister leaves, one of the girls from like the bachelorette group comes saying that, they're across the way and their power went out. So she comes for candles, flashlights, and I guess he says spam, but I didn't see him give her any spam. So he gives that to her, and then they say their goodbyes. The next day he wakes up, he goes for a run, and he goes past this tree house. And it's kind of an eerie feeling, you can tell from him and from the whole theme of the movies that tree house, it is called a tree house, but you can tell that tree house is kind of, weird. It's not someplace you want to go in the middle of the night. And then he comes across the same girl again from the night before. And then, he's talking to her, and a few more from the group show up, and, they chit chat. And he invites them over for dinner. And, he's a big celebrity chef. And also Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine is in there. I love Rosa. But he invites them to dinner. He's a big celebrity chef, so they're getting like 3-course, 4-course, 5-star meal with desserts, appetizer, wine, and all that good stuff. So he cooks fantastic meal, and everybody's laughing, chit-chatting. He's drinking, and he thinks he's drank too much, and he's cooking, so he's not eating. So he's like, he starts feeling lightheaded and tired. So he's like, you know what, I'm gonna call it a night. I've been drinking too much and not eating. So the little housekeeper lady makes him, something to drink to kind of help his stomach, and he goes to bed. But he just throws himself across the bed because he's just so tired. Like, he can't get it right to get into bed properly. So he wakes up like in the middle of the night and sees that one of the girls are laying beside him. So he gets up and he's wandering around because he starts hearing some weird music. He gets in the room where the weird music is. There's a freaking peacock. There's a cage. There's a record player. And there's like this weird ritualistic statue with like blood dripping on it and stuff. And it's just uber creepy. And the girl that was laying beside, he gets back up the stairs and there's a knock. He goes back to his room and see that the girl isn't there anymore. Now there's a knock at the front door, and it's somebody with a ram horn mask on. So he's like, no thank you. But the person just comes in anyways. And then the girl that he was laying by starts banging on one door and say, help me, I'm stuck, whatever. He's trying to get in, and then all of a sudden, everybody's coming down on him. The ram head goat lady is coming down on him, barreling down on him, and then he goes limp, like he's paralyzed all of a sudden. And now he wakes up in the bed, like with a metal chain around his neck, can't move anything. And people in masks around him. So now it's like some creep type shit going on. And everybody removes their mask, and he realized that it was the girls from the night before, and they're into some witch. Well, they call themselves witches, and they're into some rituals and stuff. So they're like torturing him now. And it comes out that when he was younger, he raped a girl. And like in that tree house, I guess, he raped her. And it like drove her crazy, and she ended up killing herself. Now one of the girls, the main girl, is her small younger sister. So she's, getting revenge on him for her sister. And that's only one. Like, each girl comes with a story of how he does women wrong and treats women like crap. So basically, they're all ganging up on him because he's a horrible person and he treats women like crap. He sexually abuses them, he rapes them, he, fires them. He does everything wrong, basically. So he gets loose, and in one shot, the girls are, no, he gets loose and he makes a call to the weird guy in the bait and tackle shop. And he comes down there, but by that time, they've already captured him back and locked him up. So the weird guy comes in, and now it's known that the weird housekeeper is his mom, which we didn't know that because he said his mom... No, he didn't say his mom died. He said his dad died, and there's no mention of who his mom was and whatnot. And it was weird to me because Peter, the main guy, she's been their housekeeper since he was young. So I'm not understanding. And him and the guy was kind of in the same age group. So I'm not understanding, like, how he didn't know that was her son, or how nobody knows that, they're related. It just doesn't make sense to me, because they basically would have grown up together, and she's there 24/7, But yeah, now we know that, he comes, and then his mom comes out and sends him away, and now his mom is talking to the girls and telling them, hurry up and get this thing over with. So now we know that she's a part of it too. So what happens after that? They scare him a little bit more. He pees himself, and they make a game out of it. They put makeup on him, put a dress on him, and tell him, we're gonna make a game, you're gonna run, and then we're gonna shoot you. So he runs out. He gets to the treehouse, and he goes in, and he sees like pictures of him and news articles plastered everywhere with blood, and there's a little mattress with blood all over it. And basically you get in your mind that that's where the girl killed herself. And all the other girls like put up all the pictures and stuff. So he gets out of there, and somehow his sister is parked right there, which is another weird thing, because she was just sitting there in the car. It's not like she was driving by and she saw him. She was sitting there in the car, like she was waiting for him. So like after that, you're like, she's definitely a part of it. So he gets in the car and he's driving. Not he's driving, they're driving, and they come to a clearing, and she lets slip that she was the whole orchestrator of the whole thing. And he was like, because he wouldn't admit what he's done and his part in the girl killing herself. So they were basically hired to teach him a lesson, and to scare him. So she plays along, and she's like, oh my God, they weren't even supposed to do this. They were just supposed to teach you a lesson and blah, blah, blah. So they grabbed him again. This time he's like nailed to the table, and they're getting ready to like really like get into him and kill him. And he screams, and all of a sudden he wakes up in the room. So I'm like, well, damn, that was all a dream. But it wasn't. It turns out that, well, he doesn't know this part. We as the viewers will know this part, that turns out that they weren't real witches. They were just, they had like mechanisms set up and set in place to make it look like they were real witches. And which actually is very clever. And I think the housekeeper gave him to drink had some kind of paralyzing agent, sleeping agent in there, and that's what kept him paralyzed. So they're not witches. They're just, I guess they're hired to teach people lessons and to change people, to help people change. and that's the whole basis. So he leaves, and they basically warn him, you better be good or we're coming back for you, and this time we're gonna kill you. So him feeling all renewed and scared now, runs to his daughter and apologizes and blah 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 blah, happy ending, blah 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 blah. He's driving away, he sees some random girl, and she, shows him the tattoo, because, all the little witches had a tattoo, and she showed him her tattoo. So he's scared again, thinking they're out watching him. And that's the end. Now, I like the movie. It was different, new. I like new, fresh, movies, shows, and whatnot. I liked it because it was a fresh concept. I don't think we've seen many movies like that to where it was, there's some misdirection. Of course, misdirection is in everything, but the type where it's this way, one thing, and then it jumps to one thing, and then oh no, it was really this thing. So I like that about it. I like that they have more recognizable faces in it, unlike the other ones that were completely like new people, except for maybe one or two. What else? Yeah, I like it. It was, common asshole guy who needs to be taught a lesson. And he's taught, he's not killed, he's not murdered, he's not, tortured. It wasn't bloody or gory and all of that. It was just, I think it was really well done. Like, Hulu's really stepping up their game, and it's showing. Not nowhere close to Netflix, of course, because I'm pretty sure they don't have that kind of budget. But yeah, this movie's pretty good. If I were to rate it out of 5, I would give it a good 3. Would I give it a 3? No, maybe a good 2.75. Not a full 3, because, it was a short movie, of course. It's not going to be 2-3 hour long movies. A short movie. It was a common concept. It was low budget, of course, but it was still a good movie. It's still kind of fresh. It wasn't played out. It wasn't harping on jump scares or goriness. It was just regular stuff. It made to look like other stuff. And I really liked it. I do think you guys should check it out. Like I said, it's another installment of the Into the Dark series. I didn't realize that it was when I first clicked on it, but you guys definitely check it out. I've seen all of them so far. And by far, I think the first one was my favorite, which is The Body. That was one was my favorite. I don't remember what else they have. The Body was the best one so far. TreeHouse, Down was good. Flesh and Blood, I didn't like Flesh and Blood. New Year, New You was garbage. Puka was okay, and that's it. But yeah, it was pretty good. So definitely, you guys should definitely go check it out.